come in. You'll probably see some parrotfish. Now these parrotfish are multicoloured fish. Get their name because their two front teeth have fused together over the years to make a beak very similar to a parrot. Probably see quite a few different types of angelfish. You might see some of our little fox-faced rabbitfish. Now they're a pretty little yellow fish with a black and white stripy face. You'll always actually see these particular fish swimming around in pinniers. They never get too far away from their partners. As we go through the gap coming up very soon, we'll probably see quite a few of our unicorn fish. They're normally out there feeding, and they're a fish that's got a little horn that comes out between their eyes. Quite a few different varieties of unicorn fish out on the reef, although I've never been able to get a good explanation as to why they've actually developed the horn. A few people think it might be from prodding certain sorts of food off the bottom, but they do tend to eat mainly plankton. And other people have suggested it might just make them a little bit more difficult for predators to eat. Sort of like getting a bone stuck in your throat. These small schools of fish that are around this moment, they're quite nervous. They're right on the bottom of the food chain. Basically, the smaller you are, there's more things to eat you. But right up to the very, very large fish that we get out here, oh, we've got a beauty right underneath us now. He's just coming out on the left-hand side. One of my favourite fish is known as a buffalo fish. It's down here, the big green fish, got a big hump on its head, and it's actually it's the bigger brother or the bigger cousin of the parrotfish. That fish there will actually swim up to these hard types of coral and take a big bite, crunch up the coral, and actually eat the animal from the inside. It lives on coral polyps. Freezing up the bank. I've seen schools of up to about 50 of buffalo fish, and you can actually hear them crunching the coral through the glass of the submarines. Very much like marine lawnmowers. They're very selective though. They'll eat in one area and then they won't come back to that area for quite a while. They've got a little bit more sense than humans. They don't basically destroy their own food source. We're coming into probably one of my favourite parts of our diversity of what we call the Great Barrier Reef, because basically it's very much like having a back garden, getting all your seeds for the season and mixing them up in a big bucket and just throwing them all out at once so you don't care where they land. That's very much what the Great Barrier Reef is. In fact, I just had spawning, which is exactly that. All the coral spawns at the same time. All the eggs and sperm go up to the surface. If they're lucky enough to meet each other, they'll actually just drop back onto the bottom, and that's where they'll grow. Okay, we're coming through this gap in the reef now, and hopefully we'll have quite a bit of fish feeding on the other side of this reef platform. Because I said this, they'll probably not be there.
Yeah, exquisite colors.
Just hit something.
This sort of, in a minute or two, you'll actually look at water drops off to about 30 metres or 100 feet. Doesn't actually tend to get much deeper than that in the Great Barrier Reef waters. As I said, if we were to go a little bit further out, the water drops away and you never see the bottom. There's some of our unicorn fish there on the right hand side. They're pretty cruisy. I think it must get a little bit annoying having that horn between their eyes. Very much like hammerhead sharks. So I do believe hammerhead sharks have got a bad attitude because their eyes are so far apart. They basically never get to see their nose. We do actually get visited by quite a few different varieties of the marine shark we have out on the Great Barrier Reef. We don't tend to get them during the day though. They're very cooperative. We might see the occasional little reef shark during the day. But basically the larger predatory fish and sharks all go out to the deeper water during the day so they can actually catch some sleep. Sharks can't sleep on the bottom, so they've got to keep moving. But come dusk tonight, all these predatory fish and sharks do move into these areas where they like to feed overnight. Man doesn't tend to have too much problem with sharks on the Great Barrier Reef. There's actually so much food out here for the larger predatory fish and sharks. They really don't put us on the menu. In fact, the only attacks we tend to get out here is basically when humans are trying to feed sharks or annoy them. Sharks might have a little bit of a nibble. Or basically through mistaken identity. Sharks actually particularly like eating seals, and they particularly like eating turtles. Now I'm afraid to say, snorkelers and divers do tend to resemble turtles and seals, but it's even worse than that because we're really slow turtles and seals. So if there's one in the vicinity, he might just come up and check you out, have a little nibble, and actually work out he doesn't like you much because they prefer fatty or blubbery type food, so they tend to leave you alone after that with just a small leg missing or something like that. But I'm afraid to say we won't see any today because there's so many people in the water. Sharks are very timid and they will stay away from us. A little bit different at night though. Okay, we're actually going to go through that same little gap in the reef before, so make the most of actually seeing this coral. Colours, as you see, as we get to the shallower water, you do tend to get more colours if you look out the right hand side there, and you see all the little plank corals there. We do actually also get visited by 6 out of the 7 varieties of turtle in the world. These turtles come into these regions. A lot of them do breed on the Great Barrier Reef waters, lay eggs in the different islands. But I'm afraid to say none of these turtles will actually take a job with quicksilver, so we can't guarantee them every trip. We're just sometimes lucky enough to see them go past as we go cruising by. There's been quite a few in the area lately, so if you don't see one on this trip, you're more than welcome to come back and have another sub-trip during the day. Just make sure it's not the 2 o'clock one, because that's the very last one of the day. So if you do want to have a second trip, just duck on one of the earlier trips. Do find the last one does fill up very, very quickly. A lot of people leave it till too late. Now here's all the thousands of small fish I was telling you about. All those very small fish are all feeding on plankton. They're known as chromis. You get blue chromis, brown chromis, green chromis, and then you get the zebra chromis, another big ones there. They were very, very happy fish last week because there was so much food in the water after coral spawning that they're basically all lying on their backs with big full bellies. Now, the Great Barrier Reef itself is actually the largest living organism in the world. It stretches some 2,300 kilometres along the coast of Queensland, starting just slightly north of a little town that we call Bundaberg, which is about 500 kilometres north of Brisbane. It's a place very famous for its rum. And then actually works its way all the way up to the tip of Cape York. But it's not actually one individual reef, like the name suggests. The Great Barrier Reef itself actually consists of some 2,900 individual reef systems, very much like the one we're on today, Agincourt 3. Now there's also over 300 coral cays or little sand islands, and there's 618 continental islands. It covers an area of just over 350,000 square kilometres, which is basically about the same size as the states of Victoria and Tasmania joined together. Or for those of you from overseas, about the same size as the state of California or the whole of the British Isles. Now I will warn you now folks, there's actually a test on all those numbers on the way home on Cookie 8 today.
It's a shame we couldn't turn on a nice day.
colors around his tail, flower petals.
Looks like he has a bow tie at the tail. Almost as nice as a mountain.
Almost. Yeah, they're almost like neon. I don't understand why the colors of fish are so bright. It's hard, it's a bright green. Standing upside down, doesn't he?
His eyes are
You
downstairs.
see, his gills are near the top of his head rather than on the side.
Yeah, his eyes are on the steps. I think.
About coral here metals. Once again, it's a great way of seeing the fish and the corals out there. Where they're
Buongiorno, no, così vedevo come che
so you've had lunch and looking for something to do, you can find us at the Red Lip Pontoon. And this will be our third coral fish of the day. So if you'd like to join us, take us down to the Red Lip Pontoon, we're boarding out.
i colori, quei fascinosi,
We came out to Sylvia and well, I promise you that 15 minutes or so on in there.
perdona, 보라매니. 나도こんな感じだよね。
It's like sitting by a fire, fireplace. It kind of just lets the whole picture night and turn on it. Put a fire in the fireplace. Wonderful.
What's going on?
No.
賺啦，香港啲魚咧會啄人大髀。呢度都有啊。
back on. Yeah, we have to go forward and go back on. Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
What's that? Who's that? Oh, perfect person. Let's go outside.
Agora como é que é fazer? Sem uma cosita. Oh não, vou ligar para tentar e chega tudo isso. Faccio un po' fatto in mio. Aia. Non è mio faccio. E vedi queste righette? Che così, che cosa? Che così, sti cose. Quello di neri, mi ricordavo, sono stupidi. Guarda! Fai prova di cuscino.
Dan weet ik, je moet niet te schuim door het glas heen doen.
Fai prova. Io si pensi così, che impressione. Ma che piccolo. Guarda che segno. Mamma. Che boh.